Okay, here we go. Lesson 9, side, 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 triangle congruence. You always want your materials at your fingertips in geometry. Protractor, ruler, compass. So go get those. I'm gonna go get patty paper. You need some of that too. If you ever need to borrow these things, just let me know. I'll let you borrow them. Just always bring them back. Okay, hang on. Patty paper. Okay. First question. What is the over-under on students coming in to 3:30? I'm gonna say 4 on this video. We'll see. I also want to talk about health. I recommend these supplements. I'm no nutritionist, but definitely get a multivitamin. This stuff is apparently pretty cool. So, I take these every morning. What's good for me might not be good for you, but I just wanted to emphasize how important your health is, because you never know when you're going to need it. Be healthy all the time. All the time. You'll be able to deal with all the challenges that life throws at you. That's way too many. Start your day with your supplements. I take a B complex. Supports cellular energy, immune health, stress management. Definitely need some stress management. Teaching is so stressful. Probiotic, zinc and vitamin D. What is this stuff for? Well, came recommended. What is this stuff for? Anyway, probiotics, you'll hear about those a lot in health circles. Omega 3s, fish oil. I also take a multi, so it's got all your vitamins in case you miss it from your food. And then ashwagandha, a rejuvenating tonifier. Anyway, here we go. I take one at a time. This is the beginning of my day when I get here. We'll say staff and students. Okay, anyway, long story short, I know I'm wasting some time on this video, but one of the things that's even more important than geometry is your health. So take good care of yourself. Okie doke. Dare to be different. Here we go. Construct a triangle with the given side lengths on tracing paper. Okay. I don't want to do it on tracing paper. I want to do it right over here. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's measure this. Not for precise enough. Let's go centimeters. Ooh, 6 centimeters. All right, so this is 6 centimeters. How about this one? It's looking like 3.8 centimeters. 3.8 centimeters. And we got let's say 5 centimeters. Okay, so we got 6, 3.8, and 5. And then remember, we're talking about side, side, side. That's a huge hit. So let's just build this right over here. So here we go. We're gonna start. I need a lot of room. Okay. There is the 6. Now, how do we easily build this triangle? I'll show you. Use a compass. Like, you wouldn't even think that, but I'm gonna help you a little bit. I like to make the end points a little bigger. Put the point on one end, put the pen or pencil on the other. Do one little tester. It's a little tiny bit too big. That's right on it. Okay. So then over here, you want to put like an arc. And this represents all points that are 5 centimeters away from this point. So you could even color that point in a little bit. It's going to be one of your vertices. All right, let's do the 3.8. Come in a little bit. This is MP6, Standards for Mathematical Practice number 6, which is to attend to precision. It's really important in geometry. Okay, there we go. Now let's do this one. We just need the intersection point of these 2 arcs, these big arcs, which is right there. That's all you need. Just gonna complete it. So this point right here is going to be your 3rd vertex. So let's connect the dots here. Okay, so we had a 6, a 5, and a 3.8. I'm gonna color this in. In honor of Halloween, let's go with orange. I'm just shading this puppy over here. Okay. Now, use all the space we can get here. Let's measure these angles. So we all should have a 5, a 6, and a 3.8. Now think about what congruence means. So we'll use one of these little arcs. So congruence. Same size. Same shape. Same sides. And lastly, same angles. So we're going to focus on the angles. Let's measure them with the protractor. Let's start right here. You just put the circle right in the hole in the protractor. Set your line so it matches up to the line you need. I'm seeing 80. I'm getting a read of 80 on this angle right here. So this angle, I'm going to say, is 80. Okay. Let's do this one over here. So again, match your lineup. Put the missing part of the protractor, the hole in the protractor, on your vertex. And let's measure. I'm seeing 40 right here. That's a 40-degree angle. So we got an 80 and a 40. And last but not least, here's your last one. Just line up your line. Put your point right in the hole of the protractor. This should be 60. Yep, it is. There's a 60-degree angle. So, if you did the circles, found the intersection point, that's how you can draw this triangle. So you're going to have an 80. I wrote this first, so it's upside down, but you're gonna have an 80, a 60, and a 40-degree angle. You should find that your triangle is congruent to mine. I can't wait to do this on the whiteboard, because obviously it's going to be bigger, and then we can talk about similarity, which will be Unit 3. So I cannot wait to do this one on the whiteboard. Anyway, that was 13 minutes. Me talking through it. So 9.1 is done. All right, let's do 9.2, proving the side triangle congruence theorem. This one is a patty paper problem. You're definitely going to need some patty paper. Now, what we're going to do in class is we're going to do pairs for this. So one person's going to do the patty paper. And another person is going to write. So you're gonna have one person demoing with patty paper, and the other person's filling in the blanks. So let's see what the directions say for starters. So Priya, she was given this task to complete. So she got this task. Okay. More work. Yeehaw. All right. So use a sequence of rigid motions to take STU onto GHJ. That means that, let's make some predictions. I think the congruent statement is STU is congruent to GHJ. Specifically, triangle STU, GHJ. Okay, so let's make some predictions. Given that segment ST is congruent to GH, ST the first two, GH the first two, remember, order matters. You can learn a lot from just a congruence statement, like STU congruent to GHJ. So given that ST is congruent to GH, TU congruent to HJ, and segment SU congruent to GJ. Okay, cool. So SU, GJ, first and third, first and third. TU, second and third. HJ, second and third. Interesting. Order matters. So they are giving us so much. For each step, explain how you know that one or more vertices, these are your points, they're the points of your triangle, will line up. So explain how you know all the points are going to line up, is what they're saying. So they give you a sentence frame proof. So a sentence frame proof. So you have to fill in the blanks. It's like Mad Libs for geometry. So here we go. ST is the same length as blank. Well, they gave that to us, given that ST is congruent to GH. Therefore, there is a rigid motion that takes ST to blank. Well, GH. Easy peasy. Now, let's run it. S. T. U. Connect your dots. Always start with the points and connect them. Okay, so we got a good copy of STU. All right. So there is a rigid motion that takes ST to GH. Hello. Hey, there's one. Okay, so if ST is congruent to GH, and you know that the order matters, S and G are going to link up. They're going to align. They're congruent. So you translate S to G. Rotate clockwise till T hits H. All right. So let's just mark these two. ST, because they gave them to us, congruent to GH. TU, congruent to HJ. And SU, 1, 2, 3, congruent to GJ. 1, 2, 3. I used to have a buddy who would call him GJ. I still do. All right. Apply this rigid motion to triangle STU. So I'm going to kind of, well, might have to go half. So yeah, we're going to need all this zoom out functionality. But it says apply this rigid motion to triangle STU. Okay? The image of T, so we did a translation rotation, will coincide with, there's the T, the image of T. It'll coincide with H. And the image of S will coincide with, there's S, G. We can't be sure yet that the image of U, right there, which we will call U prime, coincides with J yet. If it does, then our rigid motion takes STU to GHJ, proving that triangle STU is congruent to triangle GHJ. If it does not, then we continue as follows. Okay? HJ is congruent to the image of the copy of, so HJ is congruent to the image of, well, that would be TU. HJ, TU. Because we haven't confirmed that U prime lands on J. We would have done T prime U prime if they didn't say the image of, but because they said the image of, you can just leave it as TU. Because rigid motions preserve distance. Rigid motions are a way to prove congruence, which, remember, same size and shape. Or in other words, same sides and angles. If all the angles are the same, it's the same shape. If all the sides are the same, it's the same size. Okay, therefore, H, again right here, is equidistant from U prime and J. Take a look. H right here, equal distance from U prime and J. Okay? A similar argument shows that G is equidistant from U prime and J. GH right here is the blank of the segment connecting U prime and J. So that segment. Let's see, what is that? Well, GH looks like the bisector of segment UJ. Yeah. Because the bisector is determined by 2 points that are both equal distance from the endpoints of a segment. Because G is equal distance from U prime and J, and H is equal distance from U prime and J, the bisector is determined by 2 points, G and H, that are both equal distance from the endpoints of a segment. They're talking about segment U prime J, right here. Okay, reflection across the bisector of U prime J. Bisector is GH. So if we reflect across the bisector of U prime J, that will take U prime to, there's U prime, that'll take it to J. Therefore, after the reflection, all 3 pairs of vertices, so we're going to reflect proving that triangles, this is where the order matters, S, T, U, and G, H, J are congruent. That was 12 minutes. We're done with 9.2. So I want you to just, in geometry, let me write you some tips. Some tips. Rome wasn't built in a day. That's an old famous quote. Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes time. It takes patience. And it takes resilience. In order to do well in geometry. Furthermore, you need to control your negative thoughts. So I don't mean to sound preachy, but there are times when you're going through stuff like this, especially with proofs, you're going to have negative thoughts. Those negative thoughts are frustration, stress, anxiety. You have to get rid of these, and you have to shift your mindset. The mindset in geometry needs to be calm. You just got to stay calm. Go slow. Rome wasn't built in a day. There's no way you're going to do this problem in 30 seconds. There's not. It takes a lot. You got to do it. You got to do the demo over here, like while you're doing it. But if you do that, it makes it so much easier. So use your tools. Patty paper is your friend. You can't do this mentally. It's too much. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Off my high horse. That just means I'm preaching. Oh, last but not least, this is really big. Almost missed this part right here. Now you got to help Priya by finishing a few sentence summary of her proof. To prove two triangles must be congruent if all three pairs of corresponding sides are congruent. That's our sentence frame. So if we have to prove two triangles must be congruent, if all three pairs of corresponding sides are congruent, we can describe the series of rigid transformations taking one triangle to another. But now you have a theorem. It's called the side triangle congruence theorem. So you could go with option one. We can describe the series of rigid transformations taking one triangle to the other. Those are translate, rotate, reflect. Remember, translation, you need the directed line segment. Rotate, you need a center, direction, degrees. Center, direction, degrees. And reflect, you need a line of reflection. It's a good metal band. LOR. Anyways, reflect, rotate, translate. Now, you have another tool in your arsenal. So say you're sick of describing all the rigid transformations. Well, you now have this shortcut known as side. Let's color that in for good measure. Side, side, side. Happy Halloween. Hopefully you find a cool costume. Halloween's so much fun. It's like my kiddo's favorite holiday, I think. Well, next to Christmas. She likes getting gifts. But side, side, side. You now have a congruence theorem, and it will save you so much time. That's huge. All right, let's move on to 9.3. What else do we know for sure about parallelograms? All right, let me talk to you about a parallelogram. I always recommend to build a parallelogram, draw a line segment that's 2 inches long. From the 2 to the 4, that's 2 inches, right? So if you draw this one 2 inches, this will really help you. Now, just pick any point. I'm just gonna try to do it like over here, and we'll call that A. Let's call this B, and we'll call this D. Just trust me on this one. If you put a little indentation in your page, it's kind of cool. The line segment's so easy to draw because it stops right when you hit the point, which is kind of cool. But I want to show you a little trick, how to easily build a parallelogram. So if this is 2 inches, measure 1 inch, so go perfect point to point if you can. This right here at the 3, in between the 2 and the 4, we're just gonna call this M. That's the midpoint of BD. So M is the midpoint of BD. All right, now what do? Trace this puppy. There's A, B, M, and D. So there's D. Just try to trace it as best you can. There's no need to recreate the letters in different orientations. You'll see why here in a minute. And there's an M. And we got our 2 inch marker. Now, connect the dots. A to B. Again, go slow. Take your time. No need to rush. I wish life moved a little bit more like geometry. But if you have the mental fortitude, you can slow things down quite a bit and really get in the zone. But it takes a lot of control over your thoughts because your mind tends to race. But you can slow it down if you train yourself. All right, so we got a good copy there. Now, to build a parallelogram, all you gotta do is rotate 180 around M until B connects to D. So make sure D and D line up. And then you've got this last point, and you push down there. It's gonna make an indentation. Label that C. Okay, so now we got A, B, C, D. That is known as a parallelogram, where this side and this side are parallel, as are this and this. So you've got 2 pairs of parallel sides. Okay, that also means, oh, segment AB parallel to CD, segment BC parallel to AD. So work on your own to make a diagram and write a rough draft of a proof. I missed one key thing. We have to prove that angle B is congruent to angle D. Now, I arbitrarily selected A, B, C, D. We're gonna just change this. I'll tell you why. It makes the proof a little easier. We're gonna call this A, this B, this C, and this D. And in fact, because I'm such a perfectionist, I'm gonna use whiteout. Hang on. Come on, wait up. What's wrong with you? Wait out, baby. Acting up. Let me see here. What's wrong with this white out? Okay, so. Yay. These are cool if you get them right. What am I doing wrong? So much for the perfectionist in me. Anyway, we gotta prove. I'm gonna fix this whiteout thing. All right, we gotta prove that angle B is congruent to angle D. So my thoughts are that if I can prove a triangle A, B, C is congruent to triangle. So if that's A, B, C, then A is going to be congruent to C, B is going to be congruent to D, C is going to be congruent to A. So if I can prove that ABC, this triangle here, is congruent to CDA, this triangle here, then these two angles are congruent. So here we go. With your partner, discuss each other's drafts. Now, personally, you gotta take what you're given. So you were given that AB is parallel to CD and that BC is parallel to AD. And I have the markers here. Parallel. These two are parallel. Do you remember this 2-inch line right here? Line segment, AC. Well, let's start down here. We're going to say B, C, parallel to AD and AB parallel to CD. What's the reason? Given. AC is a transversal. Going from, well, it's a transversal cutting through two parallel lines. Those lines are AB and CD. What's that? Well, that's just the definition of a transversal. Transversal is a line cutting through two parallel lines. Okay, so now what you can say is, that was step one, that was step two. Step three, we're going to identify the pairs of angles. So we're going to say this one is congruent to this one. And you can't say this, you have to name them. So you'll say angle ACD this one here. Use color and make your drawings like more interesting. So we'll say angle ACD congruent to, if you started with A, you gotta start with C over here to angle C. We want A to C, so you gotta go C to A. And D and B correspond. Here's your orange. Let me get one more color. Little blue. You can also say that angle BCA, this one, which we're going to mark with 2, is congruent to, so BCA, so B with D, so angle BCA congruent, B with D to angle D. Let's look at C. C is going to be congruent to A, and A with C. So we're going to say that angle BCA, this one right here, which we're going to color in blue, that's BCA. And coloring is also therapeutic. I want to remind you, coloring is therapeutic. So it can reduce stress. So if you're feeling stressed out, try coloring. Anyway, BCA should be congruent to DAC, so we're just coloring those in. Add some pop to our drawings. It's always more fun if you add color. And that is the blue. All right. 2. Okay. What's the reason for these? Well, the reason for these is that alternate interior angles are congruent. These are known, the 2 oranges are alternate interior. They're on alternate sides of the transversal on the inside of the parallel lines. That's why they call them alternate interior angles. The 2 blue ones are also on alternate sides of the transversal inside the parallel lines. Okay, let's go to step 4. We're almost done. You now have 2 angles, the orange and the blue. I'm thinking about angle, side, angle. That's what I'm thinking about. This was lesson 7, our very previous lesson. So, what you say here is that AC is congruent to, and you have to switch it, CA. You have to say AC, because in one triangle it's ACD. The other one's going to be CAB. You have to say AC, it's congruent, and then switch them to CA. Why? Why is this side congruent to both triangles? Well, in layman's terms, so in layman's terms, that's an old phrase. I learned it as the
Good morning and happy Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, October 17th. Pardon the interruption. This is Ms. Harper Cotton with your morning announcements, reminders, and phone trivia. Today you have blocks 2, 4, and 6 tutorial. You have 10-minute passing periods, so please make sure to be to all of your classes on time. General announcements. As members of our campus community, we all play a crucial role in maintaining a clean and respectful environment. We want to emphasize the importance of respecting our campus. Please do your part to keep our campus
You can
clean.
now say
Use designated trash and recycling bins for disposing of waste.
A, C, D.
School will be closed to students on Friday due to staff professional development. The following week, beginning Monday the 23rd, will be a regular week that begins with an anchor day. Seniors, stay on track by attending the final lap parent-guardian meeting on Saturday, October 28th. See the email from Dean Jenkins for details. Families must RSVP. All students, be sure to check your emails daily for important reminders, assignment updates, volunteer opportunities, and work internship opportunities.
What does that mean?
Clubs and events. There are currently 18 members for 3-on-3 basketball, and Coach Fisher is looking for 6 more. Pickup games will start in November on Mondays from 4 to 5 p.m. Raíces will be selling spooky baskets for Halloween. To pre-order, see Ms. Reyes, Ms. Lopez, or Ms. Ortega for more information. Prices range from $6 to $10. Support Raíces. If you plan on trying out for men's or women's soccer, turn in proof of your physical before November 2nd. If you are interested in playing men's volleyball, go to room 309 during lunch for more information.
The side in between them.
Music Club is meeting today after school in room 303. Your voice matters.
Therefore.
Let us know about your LPS experience by thoughtfully and completely filling out your panorama surveys in your classes. Speech and debate will be after school with the practice space. Unfortunately, today we have over 60 tardies so far. In order to make the most of your first block of the day, be sure to arrive to campus at least 10 minutes before the bell rings. You can do it. Academics, ERWC travel destination presentations will take place Wednesday and Thursday this week. Now for today's phone trivia. Please wait until I read the question to call extension 410 with your answer. The fifth caller will have a chance to win the Golden Puma for the day. That's extension 410, caller number 5. Question.
Last but not least.
What is the term for a series of uncontrollable intakes of air caused by sudden spasms of the diaphragm?
Ooh. Spell check. I have no idea. Let's see who gets it. Who's gonna win?
Congratulations, Miss Sanchez. The answer is hiccups.
Oh.
Hiccups are caused by uncontrollable intakes of air caused by sudden spasms of the diaphragm. Will a representative from Ms. Pye's room please take the Golden Puma to the counseling office? Have a great day on purpose.
All right, we're done with lesson 9. The cool down is on the cool down video. Remember, you're always responsible for the cool down as homework. And then, last but not least, you got to do the lesson 9 practice problems. When you turn in your test, for Unit 2, the big one, the unit exam, you will also turn in your workbook. That's when I grade your homework. I'm looking for completion, not perfection. So, one by one, I'm going to be going through lesson 9. Well, let's just look at what we did. You should have highlighted these. 1, 2, 3, 4. What did we do? 5, 6, 7. We did 1 through 7. We skipped 8 and 9. We did 10. We did 12. I believe we did 13, 14, 19, and 20. I may have to go back and double check. Congruence, I know we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 9. So one by one, I'm just going to be going through and saying, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 12, 13, 14. There might be one mistake I made. 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9. So I'm going to be going through Unit 1 and Unit 2, just seeing, did you do the homework? And I'll triple check on all the lesson numbers, make sure we did them all. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There's about 20, so you're going to get a score out of 20. So if you only did 5 of the practice problems for each lesson, that is the same as 1/4, which equals 25%. You divide that by 2, that's 12.5%. Add that to 50. That's our grading for equity formula. You would get a 62.5%. It's worth the same as a unit exam because homework really is that important. So if you only did 5 out of the 20 lessons, you're going to get this grade right here. So do your homework. It's worth a weight of 3. All right, off my high horse, almost an hour. Your homework, always cool down. Practice problems. It's pretty simple. Okay. Good luck. Keep trying your hardest. All right, bye.